I'm going to give the webinar today of the yesterday's, the November supply and demand and production information. And Alan's not giving this one because Alan's gone this week and opened a new office over in Marcus, and it's cold here, as you can see, and that is why I'm wearing my vest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a PowerPoint about the production and the supply and demand dynamics, and then I will talk a little bit about something that I think you'll find of interest in terms of tying all that together. So I'm going to exit my face here, and we're going to go through a PowerPoint, and at the end I'll come back to you and then give a little bit more information, and we'll clear that up and close it out. So hope you enjoy the presentation. All right, so I'm just going to talk about slides here, introductory slide as you see, and we're just going to move through these. I may come back in and say something, I may not, but you'll hear my voice and I'll kind of walk through and point some of the things out as necessary on the slide. So let us begin without further ado. Before we go into the actual presentation and look at some numbers and charts and figures, I do want to talk about one thing that I think is very important, and that is when we talk about the basic fundamental concept, fundamentals from a pure economic baseline standpoint are just about production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. We have producers and we have consumers. And I'm a little concerned because many times in my career, we've had the opportunity, at least I have, in terms of softening what can get to be some very aggressive supply side infrastructure dynamics. And we can soften that by increasing the demand on the mid and backstream side. And I mentioned that for a reason. And you see below, there's a little comment there. If our, and that's a specific comment, if you are still long, commercially long cash corn, and you're just sitting on the sidelines, what we're going to talk about today, and most of you already know it, is that a big corn balance sheet got bigger yesterday. And it would have been even bigger had we not had the USDA soften it a bit with taking out some supply side fear with potentially some increased demand. And all of you, if you're in that boat, need to take that situation very seriously and take a look at seriously looking at how that's going to impact your capital flow and whatnot. I do want to premise the discussions we're going to see when we take a look at some numbers by saying that yesterday and for the past bit of time, the sense, and I believe it a correct sense, has been in the marketplace, especially on the commercial marketplace, that the corn and wheat balance sheets are very sensitive to supply, and the bean balance sheet is very sensitive to demand, and that certainly did not change as of yesterday. Well, let's go back one. Let's go ahead and take a look at the corn numbers. There's not a lot to talk about. I don't want to dwell a lot on this because most of you probably already know the numbers. Yesterday's numbers came about 300 million more on production, and about half of that, 75 each on feed demand, and exports were increased. So the 300 supply side dynamics was reduced by 150. So total ending stocks are going to go up about 150, exactly 147. Did not change the pricing. So that probably was sensed yesterday, at least from the commercials, and fundamentally probably as a bit bearish, okay? On the bean balance sheet, let's go back to... I'll try to get back to beans here, if I can get back. John? I'm sorry. Can I just start over? I got stuck. I went up I went ahead on some of the slides and then I couldn't get back. I didn't know how to bring it back, so I just stopped. I stopped. So in other words, if I click over here and it goes ahead, how do I get it back over here?
You got to use your keyboard. So page up. Now, let's see, we got to get over here. So page up advances the slides,
Okay.
and page down.
If it's over here too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I,
what's over there will mimic what's.
okay. So I messed it up. So I should just start all over.
Yeah, but you got to let me sit down here a minute.
Okay.